Hey, this is a bonus episode of I'm Running with Randy White, the companion podcast to our campaign. I'm Randy White, running to be your Congresswoman of Maryland's 1st District, and we gotta talk about what happened in DC yesterday, Monday, August 11th. So I'm gonna break down the who, what, where, how, and why of all of this and how it affects us here in Maryland 1, okay? So on August 11th, Toupee Fiasco in the White House invoked Section 740 of the DC Home Rule Act. Now, it's a rarely used provision from 1973. He used it to take control of the Metropolitan Police Department for up to 30 days. Any extension beyond that requires a vote in Congress. Under the order, roughly 800 National Guard troops were deployed into DC. Also, about 120 FBI agents have been reassigned to overnight patrols, and the Department of Justice, through Attorney General Pam Bondi, now directs day-to-day MPD operations. It's the first time in modern history that DC's police have been placed under direct federal control during peacetime, without a natural disaster or a major terrorist attack as the trigger. So why is this happening? The White House says that this is about, quote, restoring law and order, and framed DC as a crime emergency. Their talking points highlight carjackings, homelessness, and murder rates, even posting a graphic claiming DC's murder rate is higher than Mexico City or Bogota, Colombia. But remember, we rely on facts, not feelings or bigotry. Here's what the data actually says. According to MPD's own dashboard, violent crime is actually down 26% so far in 2025 compared to last year. Homicides are down 12%. Nationally, homicides have been down in most major cities. The numbers don't match the crisis narrative. The math ain't mathing, y'all. Let's keep the facts going with who's involved in this insanity. On the federal side, Pam Bondi. She's Attorney General overseeing MPD operations under Section 740. Terry Cole, he's the head of the DEA, and he'll be serving as the federal coordinator with MPD. And the National Guard troops, they're supplementing local police, and FBI agents have been reassigned to DC night patrols. On the local side, we have Mayor Muriel Bowser, who strongly opposes the move but has no legal power to block it. MPD Chief Pamela Smith and her executive leadership team, DC Attorney General Brian Schwab, and the entire DC Council, all condemning the action as unlawful and absolutely unnecessary. Now, you probably saw clips about this on Twitter or TikTok or something, but at the announcement, Toupee Fiasco and his allies made clear this wasn't just about DC. He floated the idea of sending federal control into other cities, namely Baltimore, New York City, and Oakland. According to them, it's because they are Democratic-led cities, and they have to save these cities. That's not the only thing those cities have in common. What those cities have in common more than anything, their mayors are all Black, and they have significant Black and brown populations, and all are regular targets in the right-wing political rhetoric, right? Oh, the inner city, oh this, oh that. This is all racially biased, y'all. There's no way to put it, and I know that sometimes people believe that nothing is racist unless someone is shouting the N-word loudly, or specifically saying, I don't like Black people. That is just one way to be racist. This is all racially motivated. This is all racism. And we know it for a fact because we've spent most of the summer celebrating Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore for taking crimes down below levels that it has been in modern history. Baltimore has been the safest ever thanks to the leadership and the focus on what? Community, on the youth, on giving them things to do, keeping them busy. This is obvious. And the comparison to Bogota and Mexico City plays into the same framing, using majority Latin cities as shorthand for chaos and danger, despite the fact that the murder rate math they posted doesn't hold up under scrutiny. We got to start calling a thing and stop being afraid to say so. Remember, when the most vulnerable of us is targeted, we will all feel that pain. And I got to bring it back home to Maryland 1, right? For Marylanders who work in or travel through Baltimore, DC, this changes the ground rules. You're more likely to encounter National Guard checkpoints, increase federal surveillance, and law enforcement officers who don't answer to the city's elected leadership. And you can say, well, we're here and they're there, but what have we been talking about for a month? All of us, for all of us, when the most vulnerable of us is in trouble, we will all feel it. And when he's coming after the unhoused in DC, which, let's face it, a lot of them are vets that the federal government has ignored, and then he wants to move into Baltimore, and then it comes here. Yeah, you may think, well, what do we have to offer? Baby, look at all of the ag. Look at all of the wetlands and the beaches. If you notice, everything Tupe Fiasco is trying to set up, he wants this resort. This failed real estate agent, this person who has bankrupted casinos in Vegas and Atlantic City, he wants what he never did well. It's his insecurities, y'all. And if he wants Ocean City, if he wants St. Michael's, if he wants to take over all of Baltimore County and Harford County, he's trying to set up the precedent that he can't. And we can't let him take our shit, y'all. In our own district, Congressman Andy Harris, he is all on board. Yesterday, August 11th, he echoed the restore law and order talking points and amplified supportive messaging from the White House while the administration was posting those DC versus Mexico City comparisons, which is odd because Andy Harris was also in the Capitol on January 6, 2021, when the same guy that he licks the toes of, his big daddy, refused to tell people to stand down, refused to send in the National Guard to help him and his colleagues all in the Capitol, while people stormed the Capitol, going there with the purpose of killing lawmakers, including Vice President at the time, Mike Pence. He stood there in the White House, laughing and joking, beaming with pride as you, Andy Harris, your life was in danger. If not for the Capitol Police who fought back, because as Maryland and Virginia governors tried to send in their state guards, Tupe Fiasco's like, nah. Let's see where this goes. This is cool TV. While he ate his steak with ketchup on top of it. Andy, you gotta be kidding me. Restoring law and order for the 34-time felon? For Andy Harris, this is part of a bigger loyalty test, standing with Trump's centralization of power over listening to his constituents here in Maryland 1. So what do? First, we got to push Congress to block any extension beyond 30 days. The law is clear. This order expires unless lawmakers actively vote to keep it going. And while Andy Harris still has the job, we should be on his ass about this. That means we email, we call, and we show up. Email Andy Harris on his contact form at his official website at harris.house.gov. And I'll put all this information in our show notes. Call his office. They're not going to answer the phones, y'all. So fill up the voice boxes and tell Andy to make sure that this order expires. Do not renew this after 30 days. Call the DC offices at 202-225-5311. The Bel Air office, 410-588-5670. That's 70. Or the Salisbury office, 443-944-8624. And I know you have a majority in the House of Representatives and they're going to follow their leader. They're going to follow their big daddy as much as possible. But if we put the heat, the fire under their feet, put the pressure there and mean business, if we stand 10 toes down on this, we can help make this change. Second, we have to support efforts to reform or repeal Section 740 of the Home Rule Act so DC can control its own police and National Guard just like any other state. Now, statehood advocates have been calling for this for decades, and DC statehood is well deserved. You've seen the license plates, no taxation without representation. It's not fair that they pay taxes into the federal government just like every other state, and they have no say in any legislation. They need a voting member in the House and 2 senators like every other state. Third, it's time to back the legal challenges and civil liberties monitoring already underway from groups like ACLU DC and DC Justice Lab. These deployments raise real questions about use of force, arrest by military personnel, and the precedent this sets for other cities. And finally, stay informed. Read the MPD dashboard now before the federal government starts to tweak information. Compare it to what's being said from the podium. Facts are our only defense. We were told our whole lives that knowledge is power, and it's been proven true time and time again. It's time to remain informed properly. I promise you that everything that comes out of my mouth will be factual, so you can count on me to help with that last step. What's happening in DC right now is not routine policing support. It's an extraordinary centralization of local law enforcement happening while crime is actually falling. And it's a test case for whether a president can use the military and federal agencies to run the streets of a city they don't politically control. This was all laid out in Project 2025, y'all. This isn't about Democrat versus Republican, though. It's not party lines. Right now, it doesn't even matter. It's about democracy versus authoritarianism. That's it. Period. Andy Harris has chosen his side, y'all. He's not standing for the people of this district, even the ones that supported him. He's standing for loyalty to one man and one man's perceived power. That's it. And if we want to stop this kind of federal overreach, we have to start here at home in Maryland 1. It's time to organize, time to show up. And in 2026, the best way, I know we like going to protests, I know we like organizing, but baby, the best form of protest is your vote. And I mean this seriously. It's not about fear mongering. This is happening right now, and this is important, and this is real. You make sure you are registered to vote. And in 2026, let's make sure our district is represented by someone who will fight for all of us, not just for a political patron, because our democracy depends on it. And I know it's gotta be something every day. It's something big every day, and there's never ending chaos. But do not give in to apathy, y'all. It is costing us our democracy, and that's something we can't afford to give up. We really can't. And yeah, I'm running to be your congresswoman in Maryland's 1st district. And yeah, I would like you to consider me and give me your vote, because I will be the one to fight for all of us. It's time to get moving right now, y'all. It really is. Remember, be and stay true to yourself and be the change this world needs. And we start right now.